Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the interview with me, I'm Mitzi. We've got another great show for you tonight as I'm joined by the Price is Right Robots here owner, illPrimeLion. Joined the community in the early years, Prime has one of the most stacked CVs in the community, hosting shows like Today on CBS and The Price is Right, owning groups like Game Show GCW, Game Show Community Winnings, and The Price is Right Robots here, and has become one of the most recognisable people in the Roblox Game Show community. I can't wait any longer to talk to him, so please welcome illPrimeLion. How you doing? Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Prime.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. You bringing me out here.
No worries, no worries. So, Prime, I'm going to ask you the question we ask every guest on the interview.
Mhm.
When did you join Roblox and why?
If you want the specific date, I joined November 15th, 2015. I joined, ironically, because I wanted to find a good recreation of The Price is Right on Roblox. And if you recall, Wheel 326's role play that was around at that time. And so I found exactly what I was looking for, but I wanted more. And as I kind of started to join the community and, uh, you know, help out in other groups, I figured, well, I might start my own production someday. And here we are 11 years later.
And what about television? Is it something you've always watched? And game shows specifically, why are they so special compared to other game show genres?
Well, game shows for me have been a thing I've grown up with. Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, of course, The Price is Right, Family Feud. Um, to me, it's like a comfort TV, even though it follows the same formula every single show and episode. It's the contestants really that are, the stars of these shows and keep the content feeling fresh. And I think for me, game shows are so special because there's kind of nothing like it. Uh, People winning, people having the chance to win big, big prizes, being able to play along with the contestants. Just a few of those, or a few things like that is what really I think draws me to game shows, and I think why I've been doing them for so long.
Let's talk about your story in the community. You first started out with another group that not many people know about called RPTV.
Oh,
And you
wow.
used to do, yeah, there's a throwback.
It's a deep cut.
And you used to do Family Feud shows and role plays.
Uh-huh.
And right after you became the host of the executive producer of The Price is Right on TGSH. What was it like having a show under your wings after years of training? Which of the two shows do you prefer the most, both in format in itself and the production of the two Roblox groups?
Well, I can definitely answer that question. It's for sure Price is Right on TGSH. But I'll start, yeah, with RPTV. I almost forgot about that. It's been so long, but yeah, that's where I started. And I did my own version of Family Feud. I think we did like weekly shows or something. We got a few people at a time. Uh, and it just kind of slowly began to grow and production got better. But yeah, I mean, you're talking like 2016, 2017. um, it was nice doing the Family Feud, but it was a dream being able to do Prices Right. And at the time, TGSH was kind of really starting to grow into what it would eventually become. And everyone in the inner circle had a show. If you remember Nick Guy, he had Family Feud. I think Uncharted. He had, I think it was Wheel of Fortune. And everyone had a game show but me. So when Wheel finally got around to Price is Right, it was like a no-brainer. Of course, everyone knew I was the biggest Price is Right fan. So uh, I was the host for that, and that was such an exciting time for me. And we really got to see audience participation and what it could look like. Because until that point, we really hadn't got. I mean, well, no, The Price is Right or Blocks, yeah, the original one was still kind of around at that time. So I can't say that was the first time we really saw participation at that level, but definitely a turning point in the community. And as far as Price is Right on Roblox, the TGSH version.
And you mentioned it in a social as well. Like that brought back a lot of memories, sometimes good ones. um,
Right.
yeah. Um, you quickly became a noticeable face in the community, and the next step was creating your own group called GCW. However,
Mhm.
it originally became a place to give out robot prizes to people who won on TGSH game shows.
Right.
Why? And the question I've always wanted to ask you, because I was around in that time when it was the switch of TGSH to GCW,
Hmm.
why why did you change the group from a place that gave away money to a group that's basically like TGSH?
Well, that's a good question. I'm very impressed you've done your research. In fact, I feel like you're teaching me because this is stuff that I haven't, thought about in years. I have to say, yeah, it started out as a side group, like a sister group for TGSH. I think at that time, I had like a Family Feud rentals kind of thing. I don't know if you remember back in the day, we would do like these rentals where like uh, a person or a group could rent out a set, like Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, or whatever, and they could produce like 5, 10 shows of their own, it completely fit to their taste and to their needs. And so I did something similar, and we would give out Robux prizes, and that's why. But actually, you know what? The reason why the group started, do you remember Maddie Rocks? I don't know if you.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't remember the exact context, but I won a contest. He had like a contest where like he was gonna give away a group, and I won the contest. And I'm like, well, you know what? I was thinking about making a little group anyway, so you know. So yeah, he actually created the group for me. I came up with the name. Don't even ask me how I came up with the name. I really don't even remember. It's very random. Um, but he made it for me, and yeah, he gave it, and I just kind of went from there. Oh, and Today on CBS, I think initially, well, because remember it was like Today on TGSH at one point,
Yes, that's right. And
right?
it was hosted by Nick Guy as
Nick,
well.
Nick guy, yeah. And we had to change it because I don't think Wheel liked the idea or something about he didn't want to be attached to it. So we changed it to Today on CBS, which at that point was one of my favorite network channels. I love CBS. Nowadays, not so much, but I
Mm.
loved them back then. So I named it Today on CBS, and we put it under the GCW brand. And yeah, and we gave away Robux on that show too. But eventually, to answer your question, why we transitioned it over to its own standalone group, I think at that point, TGSH, if you remember Wheels' um, alt account, it was basically the account that owned the group. It got banned, and so he couldn't really like do much with the group. And so that, along with, I think there was just a lot of disorganization, and we just kind of wanted a fresh start somewhere where we could kind of reestablish ourselves. It was kind of a no-brainer at that point to just move to a new group. And the group at that time that was like perfect to move towards was GCW. It kind of already had it was already established at that point, you know. Um, but yeah, we did that, and activity definitely like boomed, and especially during COVID, of course. That's a whole nother story though. But yeah.
Well, funnily enough, that's actually the next question. GCW was growing and was growing quite a bit, and undoubtedly, GCW peaked during the COVID-19 pandemic,
Hmm.
alongside other groups like TOF and TRN and other
Right.
groups as well, APS. And
Hmm.
during that time, well, The Price is Right actually got over 100 people in a game, which at that time was unheard of.
Right.
Every robots developer know how very difficult it is for a robots group to handle huge success once it arrives altogether. How did you handle this popularity?
Man, I tell you, it was a long time coming. You know, you're doing shows like these for years, and you get to a point where, yeah, I think we had 125 people in a single server. And in fact, I want to say it was last year. I think over at Price is Right or Bloxia, we tied that record, which once again, long time coming. That's like over like what, 5 years since we hit it the first time. But no, it's you. Every developer wants their show to do good, and I know it's specifically harder when you have shows that aren't as well known or as popular. Uh, but man, I mean, there it was rough. Like if you, I don't know if you remember when we first started back or we first rebooted the series in season one, and we were doing Bob Barker's last year. It wasn't really that popular, you know. I mean, we would constantly be outdone by various different groups and shows in the community. And you got to remember, we were just doing one show. Like we did one show a month. So the fact that we weren't doing that great, doing that high, you know, it wasn't really until the second season, probably. mm, it maybe took maybe halfway through the second season to really start to kind of find our ground and get to the point where we're getting like 80, 90 people per show. And I think for the final season we did, season three, last year, I think we were reaching like on average 100 people plus the show. Um, but yeah, no, it took a lot of time and effort to get to that point, and it's not easy because I mean, hell, even Price is Right shows that people do now don't even get that many people in other groups. You know, so something about our production that really stood out. And honestly, if I think it was just the pure quality and effort we put into it. It really was kind of unmatched, in my opinion. I don't really think, I think there's some others out there that are really well. Um, but I think the effort to detail with our series is what kind of stood out above the rest, and I think what made it so popular with people.
In 2022, GCW ended at its peak, but 5 months later, we saw a revival of the Price Right Robotia after many years of absence. And the show is now the most popular show in the robots game show community, and is the show itself one of the most historic TV shows of all time on air daily with millions of viewers.
Right.
What's so special about The Price is Right?
Well, yeah, I remember meeting with Jay Sack and Charles and Wheel a couple of months after GCW had ended, which honestly, GCW was always going to end, although I will say in that case, the way it happened was pretty premature. You know, a lot was going on behind the scenes, and I wasn't ready to end it that soon, but I knew eventually the time was coming. Uh,
Really?
yeah, and I think maybe not a lot of people might not know that, but there was always plans. I don't know if you remember Gamer J881.
Yeah, I remember.
He was like my secondhand man. I mean, we essentially did everything together. If you remember GCW Plus, we were doing like Odd One Out. We
Oh,
were doing Deal or
yeah.
No Deal Live. That was like my passion project, and he was really helping me kind of create my vision for that. And I knew, you know, he had other responsibilities in real life. And so I knew he wouldn't have as much time. And I figured, you know, if he's not going to be here to help me, there really isn't a future for this group. You know, I mean, he's the one that really is. Um, you know, I have a bunch of ideas, and he visualizes them, and not just him, other people too. But he was definitely someone that I mean, honestly, would consider like a co-owner, if you will. I mean, he essentially was up there for me. So he was planning on leaving the following year, which I believe was 2022, or maybe the beginning of 2023 or something. I don't know. But with stuff happening in the background, I figured let me just go ahead and end it now. And At first, I thought I maybe regretted it, but looking back, I mean, yes, I feel like I would have done it differently, but I also don't regret ending it the way I did. I think it did shock a lot of people because, you're this huge group. You're not expecting it to just pop out of existence like that. But I thought, it was better to end the group when it was still relevant than to kind of drag it out. You know what I mean? Um, and it's not me throwing any shade or anything. I'm just saying it's my personal opinion. Because at that time, I mean, GCW was kind of starting to wane in popularity, and developing was getting kind of stagnant, and so things have been happening for a while. But as far as Price is Right, it was something that, of course, above everything else, it stood the test of time. It was extremely popular, even outside of GCW. And so we figured, well, we don't have time to run a whole group anymore, but we do have time to do Price is Right, and we love that show. So it was a no-brainer to bring that back and to you know kind of play on a little bit of a nostalgia. And like I said, the first season it was all right. It definitely wasn't how I envisioned it in my head. I think we did a lot of cool things, but like I said, it wasn't really until season two, season three, when we really got to start getting into a feel of our image and production, and as far as participation, uh, definitely blew up once we did Haven Studios.
Hmm. Um, let's talk about the community in itself. And for this question, actually, Prime, I want you to answer this honestly,
Okay.
because when you're done answering this question, I'm going to tell you what I've been hearing from people within the game show community,
Okay.
actual members. What do you think of its current status and future?
It's a good question. Well, of course, the chat update has severely crippled the community, but I honestly think that the community was on a decline before that. Uh, it definitely helped kind of nail it in the coffin, you know. Um, I've seen other groups, get out there and try to do shows regardless, and I commend them, and I'm rooting for them. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I just don't think the community can be the same without, because the biggest part of game shows is participation. It's audience participation. And when the audience can't participate, it almost kind of renders a show like The Price is Right useless. In fact, we haven't done a show since December, um, which we kind of paraded around as our last show, the series finale. We do have a live stream coming up this month on the 14th. The Price is Right at night, which we are intending to be like the final curtain call, because it is impossible, in my opinion, to do something like The Price is Right when you don't have access or clear communication to the audience. It's pointless. And you can do stuff on Discord and everything, and but it's just not the same because most of our audience, they're kids. They don't have access to Discord. Probably don't even know what Discord is. Um, yeah, but that's my personal honest opinion.
To be fair, you took the words right out of my mouth actually as well. Last thing before we move on to the audience questions, what do you see in your future and in the Roblox game show community future?
Well, what I see in my personal future, uh, it's not really much of Roblox. In fact, I've kind of moved on. I've got a job. saving up money. I have plans for the future, things I want to do in my life. I've devoted essentially the last decade uh, to Roblox and game shows and television, and I've had a blast. It was great. It was fun. Um, but I also kind of feel like I overstayed my welcome. I feel like it's time to let that new generation kind of come in and start doing their thing. Um, but also, like I said, I feel like the state that Roblox is in right now, it really doesn't allow us to bring out the quality of product that me and my team would want for something like Robloxia. So, uh, as far as my future, I don't really see myself after we do this Price is Right at Night episode too involved with the community or Roblox in general. But I'm 22, turning 23 in May. I think it's time, I step back and uh, let the kids do what they do and have their turn. But as far as the community is concerned, if I'm being honest with you, I really don't know what direction the community might take. I definitely feel like, a lot of people, uh, the community veterans, we're getting older and a lot of people have responsibilities now and it's harder to devote time. We don't even do things like the Golden Awards anymore. There won't be a game show direct this year, which sucks because I've been doing it for the past God knows how many years. And I love doing those. There's a lot of work, but I love doing those. But I just don't have any time anymore.
I,
You just, yeah, go ahead.
I'm in shock. I really did not expect this to come out of you. Really.
Yeah, I haven't really publicly announced it or said anything or, so here you get the first scoop. But yeah, no, I just right now my priorities are focused primarily on my life, my real life and my job, um, and goals I have for myself. You know, I don't want to wait to realize my full potential in life too late. In my early 20s, like I said, I when I was doing this since I've been in middle school. That's a long time, and this consumed my life for my entire teenage years. A lot of things I missed out on or skipped on because of this. Uh, and I just feel like it gets to a certain point. But yeah,
I can understand what you mean as well, because like I want to focus on my personal life as well.
right,
Um,
right.
that's actually why I left the weakest link on APS as well, because I wanted to go back and do like stuff that I never got to do as a teenager. I spend
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my time doing robots.
Right.
Anyways, um, it's Prime. We're gonna let our audience ask you some questions now. I hope you're ready.
Okay.
So
I think
we have
so.
yeah. Um, audience, if you have a question for Prime, please speak now.
So somebody asks, are you dying, Prime?
I don't think so. I was sick last week, but I am fine. Oh, also, like, this is like completely not relevant to the question at hand here, but I forgot to mention the Lux Vo Awards that you guys were nominated. RoTV was nominated.
Yes, you
Yeah,
told me.
I was just telling you about this. Yeah, I did some VO work. I was the announcer, or I am the announcer for the event. And literally, like right before I came to this interview, I was in a recording session. We lasted about 2 hours, but I got everything done, all the pronunciations, and I'm so excited to see the final product. It looks like it's going to be a really, really good show. So for those watching, and for you guys here at RoTV, uh, you know, make sure you're listening. You're listening out for me because I'm your announcer.
Oh, we can't wait for that, and I'm glad you're not dying, Prime.
Yes, yes, me too, me too.
Any more
Somebody
questions?
asked. Somebody asked, where did you get the name for the prices left and the idea, even though it was TGSH last show?
Oh boy. Well, the Price is Left. I don't think that was my idea. Uh, I don't know whose idea that was, if I'm being honest. But yes, it was TGSH's last show. It was like a parody kind of thing. Um, and people wanted us to bring it back, but the whole point was for it to be like TGSH's final bow out. It wasn't supposed to be like a series on its own. Um, Eventually, like, groups like NBC, Men's Bathroom Choir, did their own, like, the Pra Ra and their own parody version of Price is Right. Um, but yeah, that wasn't my idea.
Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. Well, Prime, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Yeah, I'm thankful that I had the chance to come sit here and chat with you today.
It felt weird actually, because usually you're the one interviewing like
I know,
me.
yeah. And nowadays it's like I'm in the background, so I don't even like if you look at like my channel, for example, you don't ever see or hear me, because I'm in the back, I'm editing, I'm producing, I'm recording. So it is a little different now because I haven't done it in so long, being in front of a camera and talking. But it was really cool. It was great, authentic conversation. So I thank you for that.
Right, well, our viewers, don't forget you can catch Prime on the Price is Right Box here, which has a new episode coming up on the 14th of March at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 1 a.m. our time. Fun.
Well, it is The Price is Right at night. So, sorry about
Yeah.
that, guys.
Thank you all for watching tonight. I've been Mitzi, and this has been the interview. Good night.